I believe you're looking at the next Vice President of the United States.
Former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney died on Monday at the age of 84. His career in government stretched back to the Nixon administration, but his most consequential role was serving under George W. Bush in the wake of the 9/11 terror attacks. He aggressively pushed for military intervention in Afghanistan and Iraq, and defended the use of what the administration called the enhanced interrogation techniques on prisoners, methods the U.S. Senate's Intelligence Committee would call torture. Presidential historians consider Cheney to have been one of the most powerful vice presidents in U.S. history.
Dick Cheney's legacy is fundamentally complicated, fundamentally polarizing, and in many respects divisive.
Professor Garrett Martin is with American University's School of International Service.
I think many of those issues, played into that perception of Dick Cheney not being the most sympathetic character to his opponents.
In the case of Iraq, we have a regime that is busy enhancing its capabilities.
One of Cheney's lasting legacies is his insistence that Iraq had been developing weapons capable of threatening the U.S. and had ties to the group al-Qaeda. No such weapons were ever found. Cheney in later years insisted that the invasion was the right decision.
What we did in Iraq was exactly the right thing to do. If I had it to recommend all over again, I would recommend exactly the same course of action.
But Professor Martin said this damaged American faith in how political leaders might use or misuse intelligence.
And so I think the fact that it turned out to be stupendously wrong, has really created deep skepticism towards the ability of the intelligence community, as well as the risk of officials, basically manipulating or instrumentalizing intelligence for their own benefit. And I would say that both inside the United States, but of course, externally.
The invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan, neither of which delivered quick and tidy victories, but lengthy military engagement and counterinsurgency, became grounds for a subsequent Republican president to vilify Cheney.
Cheneys are die-hard globalists and warmongers who have been plunging us into new conflicts for decades.
Cheney came out vociferously against Donald Trump 2 years ago, singling out Trump's efforts to overturn the results of his election loss in 2020.
He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him.
I think January 6th is a sort of fundamental fork in the road. I think for Dick Cheney, there's still a general reverence for the peaceful transition of power and for the Constitution. At times, he may himself have sort of been treaded on delicate ground, but I think that was for Dick Cheney a clear sort of red line. What he viewed Donald Trump as being responsible for in January 6th was just unforgivable.
Cheney's family said he had died from complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease.